wanna get in, and then you wanna get out. When you get the money to buy yourself a castle, how will you wear your white shirt? You zipper back and...
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James, and today we're here to talk about looks like another shill on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Another fuck up.
But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box, and the website is in the intro to this video. Please donate. Any amount will help, guys. $1, $20, $100, $5, $7.50. A Big Mac. Spend a Big Mac's worth of money on Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe account, or the link to the GoFundMe account, is in the description box. All right. So Joe Rogan seems to be on a roll lately. I believe it all started with Bari Weiss, right? Her shilling the mainstream narrative about Tulsi Gabbard and Bashar al-Assad.
Well, call it the wave of the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
Then there's Sam Harris. He was next, right?
I believe so.
No. Jack Dorsey was next.
Mm-hmm.
And, well...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wave of bullshit.
A wave of fans being like...
Yeah, Barry Weiss.
Barry Weiss, Jack Dorsey, Sam
again,
Harris.
Jack Dorsey again with his lawyer. Sam Harris.
Jack Dorsey's lawyer. There's another one. Oh, Renee DiResta,
Yeah.
the Russian bot queen, or Russian bot expert. And now we have Ben Anderson, a journalist, and
she's the queen of R&B. Yeah.
A journalist for Vice, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, photographer, video maker, analyst, whatever. And he's going to tell us some stories about U.S. foreign intervention. Let's see if this time it's going to be someone credible. Well, I'm not an expert, but I've heard so much information to where it's like, this guy doesn't sound credible.
Well, and the thing is, you don't have to be an expert, you know? Just look at both arguments being made.
Oh, multiple arguments.
Well,
from all
multiple
different
arguments
sides.
being made. Compare them. And it just becomes, this makes the most sense.
So, as guys who are not experts on foreign policy, we're just going to give our quick assessment of the things we're about to hear. Here we go.
I feel like we're at this cusp of something very strange happening. Like we're in the middle of it right now, but we're at the cusp of something very strange, where all it would take is one massive world event, one map to completely remap how we view each other and how we view things. It's very disconcerting to me.
I mean, it feels like without that one big world event.
I don't know how true that is.
Me
One
either.
world event that'll cause. Do you mean like a nuke going off? Yeah, people will
Some
get
sort of
crazy with that.
Horrible catastrophe.
There's been multiple catastrophes and things governments do, and I think the majority of people keep their cool in effect, and keep their cool in the sense of, well, we're not going to lash out with violence. What we're going to do is tell everyone that this story is bullshit.
Yeah.
And apparently they're taking this as, oh, they're just, brainwashed by blah, 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 blah. But let's hear them.
We're not that far away from that right now.
Right.
There are parallel universes right now that exist on things that you would have thought everyone can accept as a basic fact.
Like what?
I mean, Syria.
Yeah.
The white helmets. There are some fairly serious people saying the white helmets are, some kind of media front for Al-Qaeda or Al-Nusra.
Would you explain?
Yeah, there are people that say that.
Legitimate ones. Legitimate reporters.
I would show you images, but we get kicked off of YouTube for doing
Really?
that. These are like violent. These are like executions.
Images of the white helmets.
Oh, of them, but who cares? You want to see the evidence.
Yeah.
So I can't show you like execution videos. But there's a video where a guy's on his knees, Al-Qaeda with a handgun or a rifle or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's in execution style, right? Sitting there, probably blindfolded. Soldier walks up, shoots him in the back of the head. Literally, like, the soldier walks out of the screen.
Yeah, then white helmets.
Then white helmets appear on the screen.
Yeah.
Come from behind the camera for wherever they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And cart him off like he was some casualty that they found randomly. It's like... Then there's pictures of...
The same victim.
Nah. Then there's pictures of white helmets, you know, shooting AKs in the air with the Al Qaeda guys.
Are there not pictures of like the same girl or the same person being pulled out of rubble?
Yeah, but let's leave those aside. Let's go with, well, you're literally in pictures with them shooting rifles and things like that. They just photographs of certain people. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's in one picture here, then he's in another picture, and it's like, you're not supposed to be associating with them, right? They'll see him in army garb in one picture, and then you'll see him in a white helmet's outfit in the next.
Yeah.
So unless my eyes are tricking me or it's photoshopped or something like that, you're going to have to do a lot to convince me otherwise that those are actually false evidence.
The white helmets for people?
So when there's a bombing and a building collapses, they go in and drag people out and get them medical attention as quick as possible.
Allegedly. As you said, there are more conspiracy-leaning things with, you know, little kids reappearing in different locations.
I remember specifically it was a man.
I remember it was a little girl in like a blue and pink
I remember her too.
night outfit, pajamas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows about that? We could leave that off the table and still have substantial evidence saying that the white helmets are a front for al-Nusra.
And people think that they're somehow or another involved in it? They're a front?
Yeah, and the footage is faked in order to drum up sympathy for the rebel-held areas.
Maybe in some cases, but watch where he goes with this.
I mean, I've heard, you know, serious people say that.
Serious people?
Yeah, not loons on Facebook. I've heard, you know,
like journalists or
yeah. I mean, Seymour Hersh I think has walked it back a little bit since, but he said that in the early days.
why do you
So he brings up Seymour Hersh, and he connects it to the fake victim argument that they're doing camera magic and making it look like they're pulling people out of rubble, and things like that. That seems like a straw man to me. As in, that's not the entire argument. It's not just these guys looking at photos and saying, like, especially a guy like Seymour Hersh and his reputation. I don't think he's a guy that just looks at photos and says, well, they're using, like, you know, body doubles, and they're this girl is showing up at all these different locations, so they must be faking some of these and blah blah blah. I think you need to take the whole story into account. And when he brought up, you know, they say, you know, they're faking photos, he didn't bring up the whole story. And that's a problem if you want to get towards any type of legitimate information. Now he's poisoned the well and said it's all about fake photos or something, or mannequin challenges, instead of making it about, like, well, why is the White Helmets leader not allowed in the U.S.? How come he can't come to the U.S.? We have refugees, right?
Yeah.
How come he can't get over here?
Specifically during an award ceremony.
Why is he on, like, a terrorist watch list where he can't board an airplane?
He couldn't be here right now because he's on the terrorist watch list.
Why is that the case?
Dawson would know more about that.
So it's much more, it's, you know, an investigative journalist going in and finding white helmets, like the places they would stay, but seeing, like, paintings on the wall of, like, you know, like ISIS or Al Qaeda or something, their, like, flag or their symbol painted on the wall there is like, this is our territory, but the white helmets are staying here too. It's like, what? I don't know. He would see, if he brought all that up, he would have to have a hefty argument against it. But if you only bring up, oh, well, you know, fake photos or fake victims, if you only isolate it to that, it's like, oh, now you can have a field day.
There's plenty of other things I'm leaving out.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Like I said, we're not
I
experts.
don't remember. I just saw this. I was like,
Yeah, I thought this was cleaned up a long time ago.
yeah.
You think he believed it?
I read a really interesting article about him just a few days ago. Where was it? I forget what it was. It was, the not expose, but a really good look at him. And I think he's just spent his career believing rightly that the government lies about all kinds of things. And
So that's why that Pulitzer Prize winning journalist did that. That's why he believed that the white helmets were trouble, because
He's super duper conditioned to believe that the government lies. So that just means now you can't really trust him.
So he throws away all journalistic integrity and all.
You can't trust him.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it. I don't need to look into this one. I already know the government did something bad here. Stop it.
that's got him into a point where he thinks, well, they always lie, no matter what. It's happened to a lot of journalists. Robert Fisk, Seymour.
By the way, Seymour Hersh, there's like a secret hidden videotape or a recorder on him where he's talking about Seth Rich. If he has all this information, why isn't he like running to every mainstream news source and saying this, and this, and this, and this? You would think so.
One has to wonder.
It's almost like he's waiting for full-on 100% evidence.
Oh yeah, that's like Corbett.
So why would he leap out here with Syria but not for Seth Rich? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he did do it.
The one thing you're not wrong about is like those guys that wait till it's like, all right, I'm absolutely positive this is what it is.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Martha Gellhorn, I mean, one of my favorite war correspondents of all time. I reread some of her stuff recently, and the first batch of war reporting she did, I think, is the best war reporting I've ever read. Spanish Civil War, Vietnam, and then she spent 25 years writing novels, and then later on wrote about, I believe it was the Yom Kippur War, and was denying that massacres had happened and saying, Arabs lie, they always lie, there was no massacre. And we now know there was a massacre.
So now you're tying Robert Fisk and Seymour Hersh into that lady's story, who may have been biased against something. That means these other guys are biased too. He's creating the cloud of sort of suspending disbelief, if that's the right words, to where it's like, see, these big-time journalists, they can do it too. So I'm like, okay, I would believe that. But then your reason for why you're looking at Seymour Hersh or Robert Fisk sideways, it doesn't add up to me. I don't know. What do you got there?
I don't know, man. It's just... It's like... Specifically for somebody that works for, you call it a news organization.
Yeah.
And they claim to be an on-the-ground reporter. It's like, well, then what the fuck? And then what is it, man? Like, what do you truly believe as far as, like, what's been happening here,
Yeah.
Plenty of other guys do it. Ivy Martin has done it. And she comes back with something completely different.
Yeah. Unless you want to say that these guys aren't credible either.
Well, I'm saying...
They're always just anti-government, so they have no credibility here.
This is what I'm saying here. It's literally like, okay, man. I'm neutral. I was neutral. Up until a point where it's like, okay, this is overwhelmingly happening,
Yeah.
But I don't pick a team, you know what I'm saying? When I look at something like a story, I'm neutral.
Yeah.
And then I'll gather all the evidence together and make my own conclusion on what I think is the most probable scenario of what's most likely going on, And I go with that. This guy's like, well, they've been doing it for so long. They basically, you can't really trust them. Like, what?
On this particular thing.
Like, what? So
Why is it this particular story? Why is it...
Yeah, what does that say about you? What does that say about Vice, specifically?
Yeah.
Who's your buddy, huh?
Right now, I'm not surprised why the Iranian government might think you're CIA or whatever, or intelligence service.
They probably saw Vice or something like that. They're like, oh no.
Yeah, what do you think? They just looked at you? Like, him. Take him in.
They
They
probably
probably looked up your fucking catalog. It's
yeah.
like, this guy's a shill, isn't he?
You think like he's a spy? Like, why the fuck do you think that, huh? Now I don't know, but just kind of like stepping back and thinking about it, I'm pretty sure Vice doesn't always exactly tell the truth.
I've heard they're very suspect, but that was from Abby Martin.
Same. And to be fair, right?
And and Robbie Martin, her brother.
All right. So when you take a step back and you look at it, okay. It's possible they know that. It's possible they looked at Vice and looked at the articles that they write. Iran, it needs regime change. I'm not saying that they said that. If they're looking at that and they see Vice is like, are they saying this? You're from Vice? Get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why they could possibly just put a hood over my head and drive me around and throw me in prison for like a couple of days or so. It's like, it sounds like somebody's afraid that you're gonna push a narrative and make them look really bad.
All right.
I'm not defending them, just saying.
All right, let's continue.
Massacre. Well, there were massacres in the aftermath of these wars. So I don't know what happens. I mean, maybe if you just do this for too long, you just become so cynical.
Cynical?
That you're open to these things, but it's...
You have to be cynical. If someone lies to you 9 straight times, as the 10th time, should you be like, I accept it full-heartedly? It's like, no. You should be questioning it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Because people's lives are on the line.
Yeah.
If people didn't hear information from Ava Bartlett, from Abby Martin, from Seymour Hersh, from Robert Fisk, from all these people, like before the 2016 election, people didn't hear all that, and they didn't push the fire to Trump and say, hey, we don't want these foreign wars and all this stuff. We might be bombing Syria right now. Right? Trump bombed Syria with no evidence, and people went fucking apeshit about it. Even Alex Jones, who's been fucking slurping Trump for a while now, he was like, fuck Trump. Fuck him. The base was going crazy about that. Now, if we just sat back and just listened to your fucking narrative, they'd be like, oh, okay. The guy's an evil dictator.
Yeah.
He gassed his own people, that's it. We should bomb him. I don't know. That's fucking crazy to me, though. Like, the stories coming from the alternative media, or alternative to this guy's fucking point of view, the stories coming from that basically stopped war from happening. And it was correct, in my opinion. So if you're correct and it stops you from making a fucking catastrophic mistake, it's like, what's your beef here?
Unless you have some sort of narrative that you want to push.
Well, someone in the comment section of this video said like, oh, he's like a wannabe like freedom fighter type guy. So he's always gonna side with, like, oh, they're not the government. There's these guys on the ground. They must be the good guys because they're fighting the government. So he's like one of those freedom fighter type dudes. I don't know if that's true or not. But
I'll look into him.
But if he is in the Syrian conflict, he would side with the rebels then, wouldn't he?
I guess so.
Let's continue.
But, question of intentions, right?
Let's continue.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Seymour Hersh is open to that idea.
When the very people that are calling it, the very people that have boots on the ground and that are in these war zones and calling these things, when they become cynical,
Suspect.
and they become jaded, that's when it gets really, really sketchy.
Become jaded.
And we rely so heavily on people like you. Like I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
Jamie's not going over there. Look at him.
I'll do it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you wouldn't.
Well, there's a big question of who this guy was embedded with. That's a question that's up in the air. I'll look it up after this, but that's something worth questioning, I think.
Be able to really get, like, I know people that have gone to Venezuela and they come back and they go, I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. I don't know who to believe. I don't understand it. Venezuela is a very strange one. And I get messages all the time, and, I've had Abby.
Seriously, just do your own research, I don't think it's that hard to come to a goddamn conclusion, It's really difficult. No, it's not, all right? Fuck. No, it isn't.
Well, It can be sort of difficult.
I don't think so.
What to do is
You have many people working on the same thing that you are. So you have their work, and then you can have your work if you're going to go there, on foot.
yeah, and ask.
That's
people.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. For Rogan and his resources, yeah, he could pull that off.
Well, most people.
Well, Joe Rogan has direct access
Oh.
to an Abby Martin.
Here's the shit,
Like, I
right?
can sit feet away from you and hear all the information.
On call, he can get them there. So in a way, it's like you have more resources to actual credible information than I do.
Yeah.
As far as seeing across me, rather than me waiting for, not waiting, but waiting for somebody credible to come out, versus me kind of putting pieces together of my own scenario of what's going on. Then I hear information being presented by somebody else, and I compare that to the narrative that's already being pushed by the mainstream media.
Yeah. All
hard?
All
No.
Rogan would have to do is have, well, I think he's afraid of conflict. But if he just brought on Abby Martin with Ben Anderson, and he could just sit there and ask questions and find something.
It begins with a C. Not some people have it. Some people have a little bit of it, really, but I don't like. Usually, I say it's one or the other. All it takes is
Courage?
yeah, but
Cunts.
sometimes care.
Oh. My next pick was Count Dracula, but
He died a while ago, man.
nah, he lives.
Nah,
He's on all of our fucking cereal boxes, man. He's alive.
that's his cousin.
Sesame Street.
Nah,
That
bro.
dude's living, man.
Nah, what's his name?
He ain't hiding like Tupac is. He's alive.
That dude in Star Wars, man. What's his name? And he was the original Count Dracula, right? Or the most famous one.
I don't know.
What's his
Whatever. Moving on.
Lord of the Rings.
Martin, who goes over there and she has one take on it, and I have other people that I talk to that have a different take on it, and I do not know. I don't know who to believe, and I think you'd have to go over there and
Fuck.
you'd have to spend a lot of time to try to figure this out, and it would have to be the entire focus of your life to really try to parse it out.
I think that's true of a lot of conflicts. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the drawbacks of
No.
doing what I do is I'm covering 7 or 8 things at once. So I feel like I'm not expert enough in even Afghanistan, where I've covered that more than any other. But Venezuela is an interesting one because there's such a left-right divide on that, and if you support the opposition, then you find yourself alongside John Bolton and Donald Trump, which means that a lot of people are going to automatically attack you.
Right. Right. Automatically.
Yeah.
Even if it's correct.
And I think it.
How could that be correct? This dude's subtly saying that he's on the opposition side, by the way. Like, let's not be stupid here. He's subtly saying that he's on the opposition side. Like, well, you could be you could be cheering for the opposition, but now you're in line with Trump and Bolton. It's like, maybe we should investigate that. Why are those guys for this?
Yeah.
What?
And he just lets it slide.
Let's let him continue because he's going to further reinforce the point I just made.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we can say without a doubt that Maduro has destroyed the economy there. Maduro has imprisoned, beaten, killed journalists. There is a movement there that do want genuine elections.
Okay.
Boy.
As a guy from the outside looking in, as far as ruin the economy, I've heard a whole bunch of different factors about that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as sanctions go, as far as lowering oil prices around the world.
Saudis.
Using the Saudi Arabian government to lower oil prices so that Venezuela has to lower their prices, thus
The U.S. has
bringing less income.
imposed sanctions on Venezuela for years, I believe.
Yeah.
Since what's his name was president?
Hugo Chavez.
Hugo Chavez, yeah.
Yeah. A guy who wasn't their puppet won an election, and the U.S. U.S. government seemed pretty pissed about it. And that seems to be the same thing here.
Yeah. So what do we do?
Economic warfare.
Yeah. An attempt to military coup.
As far as Maduro imprisoning and beating and killing journalists, I haven't heard that, but
Either.
maybe that's possible. I don't know.
It's possible, but it doesn't give anybody
don't know.
carte blanche to lie about shit and impose like sanctions and military coups.
Yeah. And one thing I do have an understanding of is the elections. He said that, the way he said that, let's play it again, just so you know.
Maduro has destroyed the economy there. Maduro has imprisoned, beaten, killed journalists. There is a movement there that do want genuine elections.
A movement there that wants genuine elections. Now, this is something I have heard before, which is the opposition guy, Juan Guaido, didn't show up.
No.
He didn't throw his hat into the race of the election. And they're using that to say that Maduro wasn't allowing fair elections.
Yeah.
Like, so he's running unopposed. He didn't run unopposed, but he's running unopposed.
It's ironic, right?
So these elections are faulty. So when he says something like genuine elections, he means that thing.
Where was that guy?
I strongly believe that.
Yeah, I bet. Where was that guy sworn in?
Huh? Oh, Guaida?
Wait, hey, buddy, where'd you get elected?
In a lunchroom.
Oh, you were appointed in a lunchroom.
He was in a high school cafeteria. You know, those fold-up tables, they pulled them out, fold them out.
Like, what the fuck? What?
You are now the president.
Can you imagine?
The U.S. government says this is now the president.
Can you imagine? Just imagine.
Wait a second.
Oh, okay.
Because look how crazy that sounds. And it's like, okay, he wasn't in the actual election process. He didn't throw his hat into the ring.
No.
But then you're allowed to just name him the president?
Yeah, it's like this.
What the fuck?
It's like if all the Asian like countries are, you know what I'm saying? They just group together so there's this big powerful thing, you know? Because the U.S. is big and powerful, so I'm just creating a scenario where it's one big like, don't fuck with us now. So it's like, imagine they get some dude, some Asian guy. It's like, no, they get some American guy that no one ever heard of. Like, you are now the U.S. president. It's like, what?
Yeah, I know.
How the fuck do you think those people are gonna fucking feel when they see that shit? Like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was spooky, man.
And I have heard there is opposition to Maduro, but that's mostly the more financially set people.
More financially set, yeah. And I have heard stuff about that in Jimmy Dore, about like the different classes of Venezuela, who richer, who benefited off of certain companies or politicians taking advantage of, like, you know, the country's economic state.
Yeah.
You know, and it is like, you know, it's sad. So it's like drastic, you know.
So what I'm reading right now is that this guy is probably a fucking shill.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm a guy from the outside looking in. He seems like a shill. He smells like a shill.
All you gotta do is I
don't know if he's working for governments or he's on his own ideology, but I think he's shilling for something. For
all
some
you have
sort of
to
idea.
do, all you gotta do, which is what Rogan clearly doesn't understand, you know. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, you know, I'll make a point to that. You don't have to be fucking a goddamn expert on whatever to have an opinion on it, you know. Say, hey man, I looked at evidence A, B, C, and D. I compared them all, and I came out with evidence, you know,
Well,
C.
you could just ask questions.
That's it. Well, here's the thing,
It's like,
right?
what about Seymour Hersh? Well, what did he do specifically?
Right.
Really lay it out for me.
Well, here's the thing, right? Oh, he does MMA commentary.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, are you a 5th degree, like, jiu-jitsu black belt? No. Okay. Hey, are you Mayweather-esque boxing? You know? Are you? Oh no, you don't train anybody. Like, okay. Oh, did you do NCAA wrestling? Did you go to the Olympics for wrestling? Well, oh, but you can have an opinion on shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See how simple that is? Hypothetical. God damn it.
To be honest, I think he brought this guy on to talk about how he beat PTSD by taking some drug or something, which you don't need, but Rogan really wants that to be the case for some reason. That's just conjecture. That's an opinion.
That sounds I definitely can see that.
I think that's the main reason he's on.
Yeah.
But let's continue.
But some people will say, well, just because George Bush in another area or John Bolton in this area support the opposition, therefore the opposition must be illegitimate and the information coming out must be.
The guy wasn't voted in. So how could he possibly be legitimate? Possibly.
Ridiculous.
A government from a different country said, yeah, I recognize him as a government. From other countries, not just America. Other countries recognize him as the leader. So that makes him the president?
Ridiculous. No. We don't recognize him as a legitimate president or leader.
Within Venezuela, you're probably helping Maduro with, as far as like on the surface face value.
If you look at what happened with Chavez,
There might be people who are like, I'm tired of this shit. They're trying to fuck our country up, so I'll just go with the other team.
maybe.
I'm sure there's people like that.
Sure. If you look at what happened with Chavez, and the alleged failed attempt to assassinate him,
Yeah,
the military coup, like you just made him a hero.
yeah. And then if you look at like Infowars will do this, and the mainstream news will do this, all the opposition team members, and it's like a streets just covered with people supporting the opposition. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if you doubled or tripled that would be the Maduro support.
Yeah.
That recognize like this is some bullshit right now. But let's continue. Let's see if Rogan brings up Russia for some reason.
Must be false. I wish people did rely on people who actually went there, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they rely on the the guy behind the glass desk on the news with the loud opinion, rather than the people who are actually there.
Well, we still have.
No, the guys on the nightly news behind the glass or with the glass desk and painting the narrative, they're all in favor of
the teleprompter.
They all call Maduro a dictator and call his government a regime.
Yeah.
And they do all the things that they did with Assad.
Tyrannical regime.
They parrot what this Anderson guy is saying.
Yeah.
And he thinks they're brainwashing people to be, they're against the facts, against the on the ground level information. It's like, what?
Dude,
that's
this
bullshit.
Is such piss poor bullshit, man.
I think that's BS.
This idea in our head that the person who's reading the news is the authority. That Don Lemon has the inside scoop.
I'm
Don fucking Lemon?
I'm sure Don Lemon he's all for Maduro.
What?
I'm sure he's telling the truth about Venezuela.
Don Lemon.
I'm sure Don Lemon was showing the videos of I don't know, what do you call them? The opposition or rebels or whatever, throwing Molotov cocktails on the trucks, onto aid trucks and shit like that, and blowing them up. I'm sure Don Lemon's showing that.
I'm sure Don Lemon's gonna go also do his own research as far as bring up historical, I don't want to say historical facts. You know what I'm saying? Basically, go back, look what happened before this guy was elected. Look at the previous president. Look what happened with him. Yeah, don't look into those protests and who funded those protests. Don't do that.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson forgot about Elliot Abrams too. Trump hiring Elliot Abrams, a known criminal in South America. Probably be prosecuted if he crossed a border over there. Yeah. Let's continue.
Whoever it is,
And I think it used to be that those guys would spend 20 or 30 years traveling, and then they'd get the cushy job behind the glass desk in the studio.
Yeah, like Seymour Hersh, even though he never went behind the desk, really.
No, he's an on the ground reporter.
No, he has sources. He gets either on the ground or he gets sources that are on the ground.
Oh.
I believe
tight-knit.
Robert Fisk, I believe, went on the ground reading like serial numbers off of missiles. Like, these go back to like Raytheon or some sort of U.S. Military company.
Can't just say weapon company.
Whatever, bomb-making company.
Yeah.
I think that was Robert Fisk, I believe.
Now it seems like you can go straight to the cushy job behind the glass desk.
Well, we just need someone who's relatable, who can read a teleprompter, who fits the profile they're looking for, whether it's Fox News or CNN,
And also the information is there. There are fantastic documentaries, articles being written about all of these conflicts.
Right.
People aren't reading them.
You're too busy, right? Fantastic documentaries. Yeah, they are. You won't look at them.
Yeah, who's to say that these people that are telling you, like, guys like Ben Anderson, they're fucking lying to you. Who says their documentaries aren't legit?
Did he make this in his...
You see, they just want to be against Trump and Bolton. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Like, if I don't have a fucking well-produced, like, money, like, you could tell I put, like, money's involved with this shit. Editing and producing and audio quality. Listen, it looks like he made this in his room.
Yeah, Ryan Dawson. Like, have Ryan Dawson next to him and let them talk about Syria.
Oh, he'll eat him alive. Man.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing. We say this a bunch of times about some of these mainstream dudes I don't know if Ben Anderson's mainstream or not, but some of these guys with their shill sounding information, and you put them in a room with these other guys that don't sound like shills, that seem to portray a shitload of information. Like when you hear Abby Martin talk about Venezuela or Syria or whatever, she talks about first-hand experience in detail about what she thinks. This guy's like, some people, they don't want to side with Trump and Bull. Like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
No, it won't hold.
Well, with something like Venezuela, the real problem is you have two sides. You have two different versions of what's happening, and it's if you're not educated in that country and you don't understand their politics, it's very difficult to figure out who's telling the truth.
Yeah. Same with Syria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
this is just sad, man.
That's why people go to people who are educated and who are on the ground. Right?
Yeah.
Rogan brought up Abby Martin. Like, she seems convinced. Well, she was on the ground. She has the information. She says the information in detail.
Was Dawson too?
Well, I don't know if Dawson's on the ground now.
He was though at one point. No.
He's probably made trips to places, but he
Okay.
wasn't there as like a reporter.
Gotcha.
I don't think. But the point is, these guys, you do have guys that are on the ground and reporting this shit. You could wake Abby Martin up at like 3 a.m. and start asking her questions about Syria or Venezuela or something. She could just give you an answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy seems like a shill. Gonna be honest. He could be, being honest with himself, but just have poor information. Or maybe he's right. I don't think he's right. I don't think he's anywhere near right. He sounds very shill-like.
I put money on he's wrong.
Yeah, me too. All right, that's it from us, guys. Please subscribe if you like. Always comment, debate, argue, whatever you want to do. Put it in the comment section. Please donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box. It's a GoFundMe account. Should be like one of the first things you see there. Please donate, guys. Support Devon's Journey. And that is it from us. Thanks for watching, and give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.